Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am presenting about the soil in the atmosphere, and my research all came from the Google Encyclopedia over here on my right. The soil in the atmosphere is all around us because we can see the atmosphere if we look up into the sky, and the soil is opposite. We are standing on soil right now because every foundation in this world is on soil. The definition of soil is the loose surface material that covers most land. So if you see brown stuff, or even there's different types of soil in our world. There are also different layers of soils. First is the topmost layer. The top layer is rich in humus and minerals. What I mean by humus is the plant and animal remains. So humus is usually that really black and dark brown rich soil. Then there's also minerals in the second layer. If you see this tan layer that says B subsoil, this soil layer is full of minerals. There is also a layer with weathered rock and it has a little life in it. Not a lot of life live here because it's so deep under the ground, and also it's very rocky, so not good for nutrition. Lastly, the last layer is bedrock, and it is all rock. When you go deep down into our soil, you can find this, and bedrock is hard to find because the layers of soil are deep. Soil is composed of broken rock, as you can see, and over time, when rock erodes away because of the wind and brushing against other rocks, it will create these fine grains. And these fine grains can either end up as chalk, clay, sand, and peat. These are all different types of soil. Even though these can feel very different, they're all made of tiny grains. Chalk is usually a thin powder, while clay is very moisture and waterlogged. Then there's sand, which when you walk on a beach, your feet are touching sand, and sand is loose, fine grains. Lastly, there's peat, and this is just rock mixed in with water to form this muddy substance. There's also life in the soil. We may not notice soil has life because we never really pay attention to it. But every 1 square yard of soil has a billion living things in it. This can include fungi, beetles, and worms, and many more little organisms. These will all help nutrients the soil to make it better. These are the healthy aspects of soil. First, healthy soil contains life because life will help the soil to combine the nutrients and produce more animals living in it. Then there's minerals. In order for healthy soil to thrive and grow plants, it needs minerals. Lastly, there's plant and animal remains. This will help the soil to stay healthy. Also, there are human effects on soil. We have done stuff to soil to make it worse and worse over the years. One of the main causes is farming. When people farm, they take up a lot of soil and harm our atmosphere. As I said earlier, a lot of life lives in soil. One thing of farming is soil erosion. When we have soil erosion, that means soil is blowing away in the wind. And this is because trees and roots aren't holding it down. And in farming, we need a lot of bare soil for us to plant new crops and clean crops. There's also burning. We often burn trees and areas of forest down in order to clear space for farming. This is not good, however, because there are not many minerals left after they have burned all the nutrients from the soil. This causes the crops to become worse than it was when the soil was better. So farmers are just having to burn more soil because they are keep burning the nutrients that is already in the soil. That leaves them with very few nutrients that survive the fire. Our atmosphere is the envelope of gases surrounding the Earth or another planet. The atmosphere of our Earth is very clear, but it can do many things. The outermost layer is dust-free and it appears blue from satellite images. Then there are all the different types of layers of our Earth's atmosphere. The lowest layer is where there's oxygen and all the clean air. This is called the troposphere. It also contains the weather. So this is the most busiest layer of our Earth's atmosphere. Then as we go up, there's the tropopause, which separates the stratosphere from the troposphere. And the tropopause's job is to just separate the air from the stratosphere in the lower layer. The stratosphere also contains the ozone layer, one of the most vital layers in our atmosphere. The ozone layer protects us from harmful UV rays, which in other words is called radiation from the sun. The ozone layer will protect us from all the elements that we can't survive in space. Without it, we couldn't survive. Then there's the mesosphere, which is the second to last layer of our atmosphere, and it is where comets and asteroids blow up to form shooting stars. Most asteroids or rock from space won't get below the mesosphere because it is so hot. The last one is the ionosphere, or the most outermost layer. It's also called the exosphere, and from space you can easily see this layer. The ozone layer is what I said, a very vital part in our atmosphere. The ozone layer covers the entire planet and protects life on Earth by absorbing harmful radiation, or ultraviolet. This is an image of our ozone layer. Our ozone layer has declined over the years, so that means it's getting thinner and thinner. This is not good because that means that harmful rays from the sun or even from space can get into Earth more easily. The green parts, or the more lighter parts, mean that the ozone layer is more thicker, while the North Pole and the center of our Earth, or the two poles, is getting thinner and thinner ozone. This is because all the heat will most commonly enter from the poles. So eventually the oceans will rise because all the ice will be melting from the South Pole and from Antarctica or the North Pole. This is an image of the sun shining on the ice. Eventually, if we don't do something to prevent this, these seals that are living on this ice won't have any more habitat, and most likely they will die out because they don't know how to adapt to survival without land. And it also, our ozone layer getting thinner also affects us, because if UV or radiation hits us, it will cause damage to our DNA. When a UV photon comes in our DNA, it will damage it, so it will affect our looks, and after it hits it, it will become broken. That's why we need to raise awareness to our ozone layer. And moving on, we need to stop global warming. Global warming is part of what causes the ozone layer to thin. It's because cows produce methane. This is a high percentage of what causes global warming, because when we keep feeding cows grass and hay, it will cause them to fart or to burp, which will cause methane, which is a harmful greenhouse gas in our atmosphere. These gases are going to start trapping heat into our ozone layer and furthermore destroying it. There's also massive amounts of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide are another example of fumes, and carbon dioxide will produce massive amounts in factories. In the downtown, you can often see this hazy gas. That is because carbon dioxide is in the air. In busy towns or cities, these factories will often be common, so this hazy gas will spread out everywhere, including the ozone layer. Lastly, there are CFCs. It's short for chlorofluorocarbons, and chlorofluorocarbons are used to manufacture refrigerators. And the chlorofluorocarbons are one of the aspects that harm our atmosphere and also trap heat to destroy it. In conclusion, I think that the soil and atmosphere are important. We learned about all the layers of our soil and how it affects life, because when we grow to the deep soil, no life could be grown there. So I think that we should raise awareness to stop global warming in our atmosphere and also take care of our soil to maintain the healthiness of it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you like and subscribe to my channel.